Over 5 million illegal aliens crossed our border on Mayorkas' watch. More than 14,000 pounds of fentanyl was seized in fiscal year 2022 at our southern border. That is an all-time record high.
Seized. I must not know what that word means or how to say it, because I thought that much fentanyl being seized at the border was cause for celebration. Or maybe Lauren Boebert doesn't know what seized means. I've said seized so much that it sounds weird now. Representative Lauren Boebert was explaining why she thinks Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas should be impeached. GOP lawmakers accused Mayorkas of not taking the border crisis seriously. 20 Republicans demanded this move as well to take place in the next Congress, saying 14,000 pounds of fentanyl was seized in fiscal year 2022 at our southern border. This is an all-time record high. Now, whether Mayorkas is actually worthy of losing his job, I don't know. But I guess it all depends on who he's compared to.
Now let's get straight to the point. Under President Trump, we had a secure border, and now we have a wide open border with millions crossing into our country. Many of them are criminals bringing in deadly drugs that are killing our children and are devastating our communities.
Trump closing the border, especially as it pertains to how drugs are handled, is just a thing that the GOP says. Like when things aren't going well in Dem-led states, financially or economically, and they say, how's communism working for you? Even though what went down happened under capitalism. Or they say, Dems want to shut down the country over COVID, even though Trump was the president who did that. With that said, according to factcheck.org, U.S. border officials reported seizing more than 10,000 pounds of fentanyl being smuggled across the southwest border in fiscal year 2021, a 132% increase from fiscal year 2020. Some Republicans have misleadingly suggested that the amount of drugs seized is a negative development attributable to the immigration policies of President Joe Biden. But the steep rise started in mid-2020 under then-President Donald Trump. More important, if stopping large amounts of fentanyl from being distributed to Americans is indicative of a crisis at the southern border, as these tweets imply, it's a problem that Biden largely inherited from his predecessor. Border officials seized nearly as much fentanyl in the last 9 full months of Trump's presidency as had been seized during the first 9 full months of Biden's. Per the Cato Institute, the vast majority of the illicit fentanyl is discovered during vehicle inspections at ports of entry by CBP's Office of Field Operations. Despite this fact, quote, most of the fentanyl entering the U.S. is smuggled in by unauthorized migrants crossing the border illegally. A more accurate summary is that fentanyl is overwhelmingly smuggled by U.S. citizens, almost entirely for U.S. citizen consumers. Here's 2 points. Fentanyl smuggling is ultimately funded by U.S. consumers who pay for illicit opioids, nearly 99% of whom are U.S. citizens. In 2021, U.S. citizens were 86.3% of convicted fentanyl drug traffickers, 10 times greater the convictions of illegal immigrants for the same offense. An argument is usually made about the sheer amount of drugs being seized at the border and if it's indicative of the relative amount of, say, fentanyl that isn't being caught at the border. I mean, maybe. The crisis seems to be growing, but was born under 45. What about getting to the core of why there is a market for such things in the USA, like unaffordable healthcare, mental health issues, poverty, desperation, and that its sales enrich those in the USA who sell it? If there were no market in the USA, it wouldn't be smuggled here. We'll see if this impeachment of Alejandro Mayorkas will actually take place, and I hope whatever decision is made will be followed by policies along with funding for necessary resources. For Rebel HQ, I'm Jeff Wiggins. My architect knows Japanese. For more from the Young Turks, stay right here. To see additional content from yours truly, click on the Jeff Wiggins hashtag. You can also find me on my YouTube channel, We Gonna Be Alright. Thanks for watching.